Toyota has buried a surprising number of genuinely useful features in these cars, and most owners never find half of them. Features and pro tips that can make your car smarter than you probably realized. In this video, we'll take a look at the 9 that have impressed me the most throughout my years working with these cars. Let's begin. Number 1. Key fob remote start. A lot of Toyota owners think remote start is locked behind the app, a subscription, or some dealer package they never bought. That is why so many people with a RAV4, Camry, Highlander, Tacoma, or newer Sienna never even try the key in their pocket. On a lot of compatible Toyotas, the trick is simple. Press lock again, then press and hold lock on the third press. If the car supports it, the engine starts, and the climate system wakes up with it. Toyota's support pages and connected services guidance confirm both the fob start behavior on compatible vehicles, and that availability depends on model, year, and connected service capability. This is one of those features that stops sounding small the second weather gets bad. In summer, it gives the AC a head start before you sit in a cabin that feels like an oven. In winter, it helps get heat and defrost moving before you even touch the wheel. I had a guy with a late-model Camry XSE who thought his wife's Highlander had stronger air conditioning because her cabin always felt better when she got in. It did not. She was just remote starting it while finishing her coffee. Same idea, same result. The car was already winning the temperature fight before the drive even began. And this is exactly why I like this feature for a video like this. Owners are out here thinking they need a remote start install, or worse, thinking they missed some expensive option when the car already does it. Meanwhile, the dealer usually never explains it, and the owner never reads deep enough into the manual to find out. That is how a feature people would genuinely use every week stays hidden for years. Number 2. Automatic parking brake mode. Most people use Toyota's electronic parking brake like a manual switch and never question it. Press it when parking, release it when leaving, repeat forever. What they miss is that on a lot of newer Toyotas, you can turn on automatic mode, which means the car applies the parking brake when you shift into park and releases it when you pull away. Toyota's owner materials for models like the Corolla and other recent vehicles spell out the auto EPB function and how to turn it on or off. That sounds tiny until you use it for a week. Then you notice it every time you park on a slope, every time you stop and jump out quickly, every time the car just feels smoother and more thought out. It is one of those hidden settings that makes a Toyota feel more expensive than it is. I showed this to a customer with a 2023 Corolla Hybrid who had been driving the car for months without knowing the function even existed. He thought the feature was only on Lexus products or German cars because nobody had shown him otherwise. 30 seconds later, he had it on and never wanted it off again. And there's a practical side too. A lot of owners rush. They stop the car, throw it in park, and move on to the next thing. Automatic EPB removes one more step and one more chance to forget. It is not flashy. It is not something a salesman builds a demo around. But in daily use, especially on commuter cars like the Corolla, Crown, or newer Prius, it is the kind of feature that quietly improves the car every single day. That is why this one is such a strong pro tip. The hardware is already there. The system already works, and most owners are still treating it like a basic handbrake with a nicer button. Number 3. Rear camera washer. One of the dumbest little frustrations on modern Toyotas is a filthy backup camera. You get one rainy day, one muddy road, one week of winter grime, and suddenly the screen looks like someone smeared grease over the lens. Most people either ignore it or get out and wipe the camera with their finger every other day. What they do not realize is that on some Toyota models, the car can clean the camera for them using a dedicated washer. Toyota documentation for vehicles like the Sienna specifically describes a rear camera cleaning washer tied to the washer system. This matters more than people think because a backup camera is only useful if you can actually see out of it. Family vehicles are the perfect example. A Sienna or a Highlander lives through school runs, wet roads, dirty car parks, shopping trips, and everything else that throws grime at the back of the car. Once that lens gets dirty, the image quality drops hard. I remember a Sienna owner complaining that his camera looked cheap in bad weather. It was not cheap. The lens was constantly coated in road film, and he had never used the cleaning function the van already had. That is exactly the kind of feature Toyota buries. It is practical, it solves a real irritation, and nobody ever gets told about it at delivery. Meanwhile, people keep doing the annoying manual version because they assume there is no other option. On a daily driver that reverses in and out of tight spaces all week, that becomes surprisingly useful, and that is why I love this one for the video. It is not some geeky settings menu trick. It is a real-world feature that saves time, keeps the camera usable, and makes the car feel smarter with almost zero effort from the owner. Number 4. Brake hold. If you sit in traffic every day and you still keep your foot planted on the brake at every single red light, there is a good chance your Toyota is doing less work for you than it could. Brake hold is one of those features owners stare at for months without touching because they assume it is some weird parking brake gimmick. It is not. On a lot of newer Toyotas, once you turn it on, the car will keep the brakes applied for you after you come to a complete stop, then release them when you press the throttle. Toyota's quick reference guides for recent models like the RAV4, Corolla, and other current vehicles describe exactly that behavior. This is one of those hidden features that stops sounding minor the first time you use it in real traffic. School pickup line, drive-through, city commute, crawling motorway jam, uphill stop where you are tired of balancing the pedal. Suddenly the car feels calmer and more expensive. A RAV4 hybrid owner I know thought the button was only useful for parking until he turned it on during a brutal stop-and-go commute. After that, he used it every day. Same thing with a Corolla customer who said it made the car feel less cheap because he stopped having to hold pressure at every light. And that is the reason this belongs in the video. It is not there to impress you. It is there to make the car less annoying to live with. Toyota already gives people this feature. But because it is hidden behind one small button and almost never gets explained properly, owners keep driving around like the feature does not exist. Once people actually start using it, a lot of them never go back. Number 5. Panoramic view, see-through. A lot of Toyota owners have no idea how much their camera system can actually do because they only ever see the basic reverse view. That is a waste, especially on bigger vehicles. On certain Toyotas with panoramic view monitor, the system can give you moving view, see-through view, bird's eye angles, and extra perspectives that make parking and low-speed maneuvering way easier. Toyota's owner materials for vehicles like the Tundra, Camry, RAV4 Prime, and others describe these modes directly. This is not one of those gimmicky features that sounds cool but never matters. It matters the second you try to park something like a Tundra, Grand Highlander, or even a loaded Sienna in a tight garage or next to a curb you are trying not to destroy your wheels on. The see-through and moving view layouts help you judge distance in a way the normal backup screen just cannot. A guy with a newer Tundra once told me he thought the truck was too big for city parking until he finally learned how the camera modes worked. Nothing changed about the truck, he just stopped using 10% of the system and started using all of it. That is what makes this feature so strong for content. It feels like you found something expensive hidden inside the vehicle. And on a lot of Toyotas, that is basically what happened. Buyers pay for the hardware, then drive the car for a year using one camera angle and none of the smarter views that make the whole thing easier to place. Once you show people the extra screens and what they are for, it instantly feels like a pro tip instead of a brochure feature. Number 6. Hands-free liftgate kick sensor. A lot of Toyota owners have the kick sensor and still keep closing the liftgate the hard way because they never learned the timing. Then they decide the feature doesn't work and never use it again. On compatible Toyotas with a hands-free power liftgate, the idea is simple. Keep the smart key on you. Make a quick in and out kick motion under the correct part of the rear bumper and the liftgate opens or closes. Toyota's kick sensor pages and quick reference guides explain the motion and sensor area clearly, including different placement depending on tow hitch setup. This feature is way more useful than people give it credit for. Groceries in both hands, gym bag on one side, baby stuff on the other, airport pickup, muddy boots, rain, cold. That is where this thing earns its place. On vehicles like the RAV4, Highlander, Grand Highlander, and Sienna, it saves you from putting everything down just to fight the tailgate. A Highlander owner once told me the kick sensor was broken because he had been waving his foot around under the bumper like he was trying to unlock a magic door. One quick proper kick and the liftgate opened immediately. The feature was fine. The technique was wrong. That is why I like this one so much. It is not hidden because Toyota forgot to mention it. It is hidden because owners try it badly once, give up, and move on. But once you know where to kick and how fast to do it, it becomes one of those things you use constantly without thinking about it. On a family Toyota, that is exactly the kind of small convenience that makes the car feel much smarter than most owners realize. Number 7. PCS warning timing adjustment. A lot of Toyota owners complain that the forward collision warning is either too nervous or too late, and most of the time the system itself is not the problem. The setting is. Toyota lets you adjust the pre-collision system warning timing on a lot of newer vehicles, usually with options that make the alert come in earlier, normal, or later depending on how you drive. Most owners never touch it, so they spend years thinking the car is weird, when really it is just set wrong for them. This matters because it changes how the car feels every single day. If the warning comes too early for your style of driving, the car starts feeling intrusive. It beeps when you do not want it to, and after a while owners stop trusting it. Then they either turn it off or ignore the alerts, which defeats the whole point of having the feature. Go the other way and leave it too late, and now the system feels less useful in heavy traffic or on fast roads where you actually want more margin. I had a guy ask me why his Toyota kept throwing warnings in traffic that his previous car never did. Nothing was wrong with the camera or radar. The warning timing was set more aggressively than he liked, and he had never gone into the menu once. We adjusted it, drove the same route again, and the complaints disappeared almost immediately. Same car, same hardware, completely different experience. That is why I like this feature so much. It is not some hidden gimmick buried in a brochure. It changes the way the car communicates with you. And when people finally set it properly, they stop treating the safety system like an annoyance and start using it the way Toyota intended. Number 8. Lane departure. Lane tracing sensitivity settings. This is another one owners get wrong constantly. They decide they hate lane assist, but what they really hate is the factory setting. Toyota gives drivers a surprising amount of control over how the lane departure warning and lane tracing behavior feel, and almost nobody explores it. So the car ends up correcting too aggressively, warning too often, or just feeling unnatural, and the owner blames the technology instead of the setup. The mistake usually starts the same way. Someone drives the car for a week, gets annoyed that the steering nudge feels too strong or the alert comes in at the wrong moment, and then mentally files the whole feature under useless. That is lazy ownership, because once you go into the settings and change the sensitivity, the same system can feel far calmer and far more natural. This matters most on longer drives. A badly configured lane system makes the car feel busy. A properly configured one takes the edge off motorway driving without constantly reminding you it exists. That difference is huge. One setup feels like a machine fighting you. The other feels like a subtle backup that only steps in when it should. A customer once told me he thought Toyota's lane assist was one of the worst systems he had ever used. Then I asked him whether he had changed any of the settings. Blank stare. We adjusted the warning timing and the steering assist feel, and suddenly the same system he hated became something he was happy to leave on. That is why this belongs in the video. A lot of owners do not actually know whether they dislike the feature or just dislike the way their specific car is set up right now. Number 9. Walk away close and lock on the power back door. A lot of people still use the tailgate like it is 2012. They press the button, wait around, close it manually, then lock the car separately and walk off with bags in both hands. Meanwhile, some newer Toyotas can close the power back door and lock the vehicle as you leave, which is exactly the kind of small convenience feature owners end up loving once they realize it is there. This is the kind of thing that sounds unimportant until you actually use it in real life. Shopping bags, sports gear, baby stuff, work bags, airport drop-offs, bad weather, dark car parks. Those are the moments where this feature suddenly starts making a lot of sense. You load the back, hit the function, walk away, and the car finishes the job for you. No standing there waiting, no closing the hatch and then remembering you still have to lock everything afterward. What makes it a hidden feature is not that Toyota hid the hardware. It is that owners almost never go through enough settings to discover how much control they have over the back door behavior. They know the tailgate opens, they know it closes, but they never learn the extra logic around locking, timing, and walkaway use. I remember showing a customer one of these convenience settings after he spent months complaining that loading the car in the rain was always awkward. He had the exact feature that solved his problem and had never used it once. That happens constantly with modern Toyotas. The capability is there, but the owner is only using half of what the car can do. And that is why this is such a good closing feature for the video. It is practical, it feels premium, and once people find it, it becomes one of those things they start using immediately.